Hi, I'm Nikki Jovikic from Look Up Strata. We receive many strata questions from our audience. When we received this question from Dean in New South Wales, we thought many owners would relate to Dean's situation. We invited Rod Smith, Managing Director of the Strata Collective in New South Wales, to have a chat with us about the importance of sinking fund balances in small schemes, what the legislation says, and strategies to align the motivations of all owners to the greater good. After many years of toil as treasurer in his small scheme, Dean finally got the admin and sinking funds into a healthy position, only to find the other two owners have called a general meeting to reduce levies. Here's Dean to fill you in and explain his struggles in more detail. Welcome, Dean. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, Rod. Look, I've lived here for 20 years and been an owner. Prior to that, I was 2 years as a tenant. And ever since the first 15 years, we just had a block of 1 to 2. The owner of Unit 3 never turned up to a general meeting, and he always gave his proxy to Unit 2. Oh, and he didn't live there, it was rented. They were both investors, and they could never want to put money into sinking fund. It was always a little bit. To get anything done, you had to, break through walls, whatnot. And that happened for 15 years. So I sort of just plugged away. And then Unit 3 decided to go. I decided to paint the place, which was all right. But then after that, Unit 3 left. But when they painted it, they discovered that our barge boards were all rotted, which has been a common problem. And then that just sent our sinking fund back down to minus $1,000 after about $15,000 of special levies. Then Unit 3 sold out, and then I had new owners, and I said, look, let's just not muck around and put $6,000 into the first year to get it back to $5,000. Tried that the next year. Another owner came in. They didn't attend a general meeting, and then 4 or 5 months later, they had another meeting to reduce the fees because their excuse was they never had enough money. We had to reduce everything. Nothing needs doing, and they lasted a couple of years. But by doing that, reducing it, and then reducing the next years, it just puts us back to square one. And then we've had other barge problems and other whatnot, and we just kept going backwards. And then they left, and another units came in, and they never lived there. They were only there 12 months. They completely renovated Unit 2. Got to the general meeting. Oh, we're broke. We can't afford it. We're selling. We have to reduce the strata fees. And now we've got basically the current 2 owners in. And again, it's come up, Unit 3 selling out. They just raised the general meeting then to, no, we've got too much or whatnot. We've got to reduce the fees and whatnot, which I think is obviously something to do with selling the unit. And it is high fees, but I just wanted to get eventually, because we've had 20 years of this, we've never had enough in the sinking fund to do anything. Now we've just got to where our 10-year plan is, and I'm proud of it. But now they've, again, there's always some excuse that we don't need to do anything. And our place is now 40 years old. It's been 10 years since we got it painted, and it's due next year. But I'm sure as soon as I put in a motion for that, it won't need doing. No, we don't need to do that. And the things just go on and on and on. I think it's good that we've got enough money now, and who knows what it's going to cost to paint, because last time, 10 years ago, it cost $8,500. But I said at last annual general meeting, we've got there, now we should be able to reduce it. But unfortunately, I didn't get to the next general meeting before they've pounced and want to go backwards. And then the meeting that's coming up to, it's on the 11th of March. I can't get there. I've requested a couple of dates and they've refused. So the only option I got now is just a proxy that I can say yes, but I will be obviously putting my little hearsay in and a few emails to them or whatnot. In fact, I was going to, because I've been Look Up Strata, I've got those 3 videos where you've got, why you pay high fees, Capital Works, and one of Rod. So there's 3 webcams that I'm going to basically show out and say, I think you should look at these. But it's always the same, they're on board for a little while and then it's, no, we're paying too much, which we are at the moment, but we finally got there. But by the looks of it, it sounds like we'll go backwards again.
Okay. Well, Rod, so have you seen this situation quite regularly in buildings that you manage and that you've come across over the years?
It's very common. And if you know, I as a strata manager had my way, all of our buildings would be following the Capital Works Fund projections in the Capital Works Fund report precisely. And that's in terms of revenue. In terms of expenditure, that can change, but I think that the Capital Works Fund plans are designed to give Owners Corporation a meaningful guide of the future levy positions and requirements for the Capital Works Fund. So, Dean, my first question, I'm just going to briefly, what location is your property and the approximate value of the townhouse? You don't have to tell me exactly what they're worth, but in terms of, is it, you know, inner Sydney, $2 to $3 million? Is it regional, 500 to 700,000? Like where? Tell me about the owners.
We're regional. 3 townhouses in one block. It's down near the lake. The value, the one for sale now, is going for $539,000.
So the reason I asked that is the $1,500 a quarter is going to be a significant portion of the people's income. So there is going to be cost pressure from people. I agree with you, and I say this quite often tongue in cheek. There's a reason I don't live in a $20 million apartment. That's because I can't afford to do that. The challenge in strata is that people overextend themselves and say to themselves, I'm going to get there, I'm going to reduce the levies and not maintain the building, and not even think about the maintenance. So the problem they're trying to solve is that the levies are too high, I don't have enough money, rather than what the legislation, the strata legislation says, that you're required to do all the things that we've spoken about, Dean, which is have a 10-year Capital Works Fund plan, implement that plan, and roll it out. So that's the requirement of the offset. I'm just looking at it now, Section 80 of the Strata Schemes Management Act, to have timing of expenditure. Now, when I was speaking to my team in preparation for this, and I'll share a few war stories, one of the things that we discussed is how you can optimize your admin fund levies. So in terms of what your current levies are on the $1,500 a quarter, in terms of some ways to optimize the admin fund levies, getting multiple quotes for insurance can lead to cost savings and good options. Electricity bulk tenders and negotiating your electricity cost is a good one. Looking at any service agreements you might have with cleaning and gardening and those sort of things. If you get it done weekly, maybe you could look at getting it fortnightly and so forth. So that could potentially reduce the impact on that. But townhouses, especially rendered townhouses, and we've got a number of blocks like this, are in a unique position because the main expenditure item is the repainting. Now, there's only a few ways that you can deal with this. Either you can do it a bit at a time via the Capital Works Fund, or you can raise a special levy, and it sounds like you did a bit of both last time. And there's different quality of paints. There's some paints that can last over 10 years, some that can last 10 years. So quite a lot of our buildings would get the top paint, like, you know, quite high quality membrane Dulux, so that they potentially don't have to think about it in 15 years. But that being said, that doesn't solve your problem, which is new owner buys in, possibly overextends, and is now looking to cut back. And if they say, oh, 1,500's too high, let's reduce it to 1,000, there's going to be a hole next year. So, this is a common problem. The way I would answer that in the future is that how are we going to paint the buildings or to paint the buildings in the future? Are we going to raise a special levy? Because that special levy could be $10,000 each. Are we willing to pay that? Or are we going to just do it a bit of time? And you've got the evidence of what it cost last year. So last time. So last time it cost, say 10 grand. We'd probably assume that this year time it's going to be 20 because it's 10 years has elapsed.
Yeah.
So you've only got 5 in the fund now. It's going to cost 20. The fund. The thing is, the other thing people don't think about is, to save $500 a quarter. If people know they're up for painting, there's no money in the strata funds, they're likely to knock a lot of money off the sales price. So it impacts your asset value. So maybe $500 now, it's penny foolish pound shy, I think is the same. So that they're going to be paying for it rather than in hundreds of dollars. They could be looking at asset impact of one for sale at the moment of a number like 10 or 20 or 30,000 when they go to sell. And we've seen asset values impacted time and time again by people that haven't got enough money in the Capital Works Fund or don't have the funds necessary to deal with the challenges that they're facing. So that's hopefully a few helpful things. I'll give you a couple of stories as well before I'll stop talking. We have, when I spoke to my team, it's the oldest trick in the book. I'm going to get on the committee. I'm going to make a big noise at the AG, reduce the levies, and then sell.
Yep.
So the levies might be 1,300. I'll reduce them. Yep, we've got 200 grand in the bank. Oh, we can have a year off. Why don't we just have a year off? Economic times are higher. Let's just reduce it to 900. Oh yeah, and by the way, great, AGM's closed. 10 minutes later, oh yeah, by the way, I'm selling. So it's the oldest trick in the book,
Yep.
that one. Another one was building very high profile building in Sydney. New chairperson comes in, defects claim settled, the building has $5 million. Oh, yep, great, we can afford to reduce the levies. Guess what happens next? I'm selling. So there's often sinister personal motives that aren't in the best interest of the owners corporation with things like this. So we just need to bear that in mind, when we have these sort of conversations.
So it's just a run around the circle. So, and because we've had a few changeovers, it's just the same old problem.
Yeah.
So does that help, Dean? Does Rod's information assist you?
Yeah, all I can do is just keep plugging away with them and just trying to say, we've got a 10-year plan. There it is. Have a look at it. And we're finally there. As I said, we've never been anywhere near what we should be. And we're not that far from going by it. But as I said, whether they'll listen or the new owner comes in, when he sells, I'm sure he'll sell. It depends on how long thing, but it is hard with 3 because you only got to get 2 of them get together. And bang, it's 2-1 all the time. I can't win, and then that produces disharmony in the block. But it is what it is.
A new owner could be a new opportunity. We've got 3 owners. They could be more like you, Dean, which is we prefer to save a few $100s a year. Save up so that we've got the money to paint in the future. Yep. Rather than having a special levy. And also the other thing you can do is you can raise it every AGM that the building isn't compliant with the Capital Works Fund plan. And you can also set up your own savings account. So when that day comes to where you're required to pay, you've got your own Capital Works Fund in your own bank account.
I do that now.
Boom, here's my 10 grand, have a nice day. So that's something that you can do from a personal finances or consider doing. I can't give advice, but on that.
I'm reasonably okay with budgets. I can do them and I show it to them and they think, oh yeah, it's all right. But this year, again, it's been high for one of a few things. We've had a few consultancy things. We've increased our insurance value and stuff like that. So those sort of things have cropped up. And I said, that'll go back next year, hopefully. And our electricity and gardening is pretty, as you mentioned, we only get a note every 3 weeks in winter. Summer's a little bit different. The lawns are nothing to do. lighting, we've only got 2 fluorescent lights in our place, so it's not huge. We haven't got major outlays. The biggest thing is the insurance and a couple of other things. So,
do you have any information for Dean Rod in the instance that he can't attend the general meeting coming up? Is there anything he can do from a strategy point of view for that meeting, or?
You could appoint, I don't know if you've got a strata manager or not, but you could appoint the strata manager as your proxy and give them instructions on voting.
we'll just keep plugging away and see how I go. And hopefully I'll be treasurer next year. I don't know about that.
Well, good luck, Dean. We wish you all the best with it, and good on you for sticking with it and actually seeing, you know, the best and looking into it and absorbing the information that we're putting out there. If you gained value from this video, please hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're looking for information about parking, strata insurance, defects and more, head over to lookupstrata.com.au or sign up to our free weekly newsletter via the link in the description box below.